I'm 75 years old, and yesterday I realized I couldn't remember the last time I dusted my furniture, vacuumed my floors, or properly cleaned anything in my house. Not because I'd been too busy or distracted, because every single household task, every piece of maintenance, every bit of upkeep my home requires, has started to feel completely beyond me. I stood in my living room yesterday looking around at the dust covering every surface, the floors that desperately needed attention, the windows I couldn't see through clearly anymore, and I had this crushing realization. My home isn't just getting harder to manage, it's already unmanageable, and I've been pretending not to notice for months. The changes came so gradually I barely registered them. Maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I started leaving the bed unmade more often. It required reaching and pulling and tucking, and my shoulders hurt afterward. So I'd tell myself it didn't matter. No one was going to see it. Why bother? And that made sense. It was practical. But then I stopped making it at all. Just left the sheets rumpled and the pillows wherever they'd ended up. And that was the first small surrender. Then the dishes started piling up. I'd wash them eventually, but not right away. Maybe the next day. Maybe the day after that, because standing at the sink long enough to wash a day's worth of dishes made my back ache and my feet hurt and my hands cramp. So I'd let them accumulate until I absolutely had to deal with them, and even then I'd only do half, leaving the rest for another time that often didn't come. I live alone. I've lived alone for 11 years since my wife passed. And living alone after 70 means there's no one else to pick up the slack when you start failing at basic household tasks. No one to do the dishes you're avoiding or make the bed you've stopped bothering with. No one to notice that your home is slowly deteriorating around you because you can't physically maintain it anymore. You're the only person responsible, and when you can't fulfill that responsibility, everything just falls apart. Have you noticed this happening in your own home? Tasks piling up, standards slipping, your living space slowly declining because maintaining it has become too hard. The laundry became impossible. Getting dirty clothes to the washing machine was one thing, but transferring wet clothes to the dryer required bending and reaching into the machine and pulling out heavy, sodden fabric. Then folding clean clothes hurt my hands, and putting them away meant opening drawers and reaching into closets. The whole process, start to finish, left me exhausted and aching. So I started doing laundry less often, wearing clothes multiple times, eventually just buying new underwear and socks instead of washing the dirty ones because that was easier than facing the machine. The bathroom stopped getting cleaned. Scrubbing the tub meant kneeling or bending over, and my knees couldn't handle kneeling anymore. The toilet required bending and reaching and scrubbing in awkward positions. The floor needed mopping, which meant filling a bucket, wringing out a mop, bending and pushing. Every part of bathroom cleaning had become painful, or difficult, or both. So I just stopped doing it. Wiped things down occasionally with a paper towel. Told myself that was good enough. But it wasn't good enough. The bathroom got dirtier, and I just kept using it, trying not to look too closely. When was the last time your home felt clean and well maintained? When was the last time you looked around with pride instead of shame? The vacuum cleaner sat in the closet untouched for months. I'd take it out sometimes, look at it, think about running it, and then put it back. Because vacuuming meant pushing this heavy machine around, bending to get under furniture, reaching to do the edges. It meant standing for however long it took to do the whole house, and I didn't have that kind of stamina anymore. Didn't have that kind of strength. So the floors got dirtier. I could see the dirt, could feel it under my feet. But doing something about it was beyond me. Changing light bulbs became dangerous. Reaching up, standing on something, balancing while screwing in the bulb. I stopped replacing them when they burned out. Just lived with less light. Some rooms got pretty dark. I'd tell myself I didn't use those rooms much anyway. Didn't need them bright. But the truth was, I couldn't safely change the bulbs, and admitting that felt like admitting something much bigger about my capability. My son came to visit, and I saw him taking in the state of the house. He didn't say anything directly, but I caught him looking at the dust, the dirty floors, the general disorder. He asked if I was doing okay, and I knew he wasn't asking about my health. He was asking if I was managing, if I was capable of taking care of my own home. And I lied. Said I'd just been a little behind on things. Said I'd get to it soon. But we both knew that wasn't true. Do you find yourself lying to people about how you're managing? Hiding the reality of how far things have slipped? The kitchen became the worst because I used it every day. The counters got sticky with spills I wiped around but never actually cleaned. The stovetop accumulated grease and food splatter. The floor got grimy. The sink had a ring I couldn't scrub away anymore. And I'd stand in this increasingly dirty kitchen, making my simple meals, trying to ignore what I'd let it become. Trying to pretend this was normal, that this was acceptable, that elderly living alone naturally meant living in a certain amount of mess. But it wasn't mess. It was neglect, self-neglect, the kind that happens when you physically can't maintain your space anymore, but are too proud or scared to ask for help. The kind that signals you're losing the ability to live independently, even if you're still technically living alone. The kind that screams that aging and independence are pulling apart and independence is losing. 2 weeks ago, my daughter stopped by unexpectedly. I usually had warning when she was coming, time to at least hide the worst of it. But this time, she just showed up and walked into my deteriorating home and saw everything. The dust everywhere, the dirty floors, the grimy bathroom, the kitchen that needed serious cleaning, the general state of disrepair that comes from months of not being able to manage basic maintenance. She sat me down and we had a conversation I'd been dreading. She asked point blank if I was able to keep up with the house, if I was managing, if I was okay, and I finally told her the truth. That everything felt too hard. That every task required more strength or stamina or physical capability than I had. That I'd been watching my home decline for months, feeling increasingly ashamed, increasingly trapped, unable to fix it and unable to admit I needed help. She didn't judge me. She just said we needed to figure something out, that I couldn't live like this, that it wasn't healthy or safe or sustainable. And she was right. Living in a house I couldn't maintain meant living in dirt and disorder and increasing risk. Meant isolating myself because I was too ashamed to let anyone see how I was living. Meant losing my dignity along with my capability. We made a plan together. She hired a cleaning service to come in and do a deep clean of everything I'd let go. To reset the house to a baseline of actual cleanliness. And then we arranged for them to come back every 2 weeks to maintain it. To do the vacuuming and mopping and bathroom scrubbing and all the tasks that had become impossible for me. Not because I was lazy or didn't care, but because my body couldn't do them anymore. It's been 2 weeks since that first deep clean. My home is clean again. Properly clean. And I'm not maintaining it alone. Every other week, someone comes and does what I can't. And yes, it costs money. Yes, it means admitting I can't manage my own household, but it also means living in dignity. Living in a space that's clean and safe and maintained. Living without the constant shame of knowing my home is falling apart around me. I'm learning that when your home starts feeling harder to manage, that's not just about being tired or busy. That's your body telling you something has changed, that you need help, that trying to maintain everything alone isn't working anymore. And recognizing that, accepting help before you're living in genuinely unsafe or unhealthy conditions, that's how you protect your independence. That's how you stay in your home instead of being forced out by conditions that became unlivable. If your home is getting harder to manage, if tasks are piling up, if your living space is declining because you can't physically maintain it anymore, please hear what I'm saying. This is serious. This is a warning sign. This is your body telling you that you need support. That living alone after 70, or any age, doesn't mean doing everything alone. It means building the help you need to maintain your space safely. There's still time to get that help. There's still time to hire cleaning services, to ask family for assistance, to set up support systems before your home becomes genuinely unlivable. But there's not unlimited time. And waiting until you're living in conditions that are unsafe or unsanitary, until someone else steps in and says you can't live this way anymore, that's when you lose all control over what happens next. So please, look around your home honestly. What's been slipping? What have you been avoiding? How far have things declined because you couldn't manage the maintenance? Because those declines are messages. They're telling you it's time to ask for help. Time to accept that you need support. Time to build a system that lets you keep living in your home with dignity. If this resonated with you, if you're living in a home that's becoming unmanageable, I hope you'll subscribe to this channel. Share this with someone who might be struggling silently with the same decline. Leave a comment telling me what tasks have become too hard, because you're not alone in this. Hit the like button if you found this honest and real. We need to talk about these struggles. We need to stop suffering in shame. Real independence is getting the support that lets you maintain your home and your dignity. And that's something I'm learning every day in my clean space.